Content creators take note. Singapore's tourism and media agencies will set aside $10 million to get the city on more screens around the world. The country wants to work with major streamers and production studios to create content showcasing Singapore's offerings and experiences. Now, that's among ways that it's looking to draw new visitors here. Heidi Ng tells us more.
Hollywood movie Crazy Rich Asians was filmed in Singapore more than 5 years ago, but it's still on the tongues of tourists.
Today, there's still Crazy Rich Asians themed tours in Singapore, Crazy Rich Asians themed experiences. American audiences still talk about Crazy Rich Asians when they come to Singapore. So there is that long tail. Whether or not we can capitalize on that depends on the ingenuity of the local tourism sector.
The Tourism Board hopes more television and film productions will come here with the Singapore On-Screen Fund. It's jointly offered by the Infocom Media Development Authority, which wants to see this benefit the local media sector.
A big part of the fund is targeted at companies willing to set productions in Singapore and also willing to commit to hire a certain amount of media, local media talent to be involved on such productions so that, one, it will help boost the direct involvement, experience transfer, but also the ability to boost the credentials of our media talent.
The eco-conscious could find a home away from home here as well. Business associations are supporting the Global Sustainable Tourism Council in developing standards that will apply to conventions and attractions around the world. One association says this will further put a stamp on Singapore as a destination for greener travel.
The GSTC brand will go a long way in not only profiling Singapore and influencing decisions on choice of destination, but also from a MICE perspective, as a MICE operator, we find that increasingly customers are asking specific information on how events and destinations are sustainable.
Even as Singapore looks to ramp up visitorship beyond pre-pandemic levels, the manpower crunch remains a sticking point. While there are now 66,000 workers in the sector, or 80% of pre-COVID figures, STB says everyone must make use of technology as a solution. In the coming months, it will launch a plan to help attractions digitalize key business functions such as customer service, sales and marketing.
Among plans to make Singapore more attractive as a tourist destination are extensive efforts to rejuvenate Orchard Road. These aim to diversify its offerings as well as make it easier for people to find their way around. Michelle Teo takes us on a walking tour.
Orchard Road may be famous for being a shopping street, but plans for its revival had already started since before the pandemic. For now, the newest proposals aim to bring more people to come here. For instance, by having more green spaces to bring the orchard back into Orchard Road. The street's business association is taking this one step further by looking at how it can position Orchard Road as a precinct for sustainable lifestyle offerings. Another example, these row of heritage shop houses. They're currently home to many organizations that support social and environmental causes. And to prepare for more of such activities to be hosted here, these shop houses will be integrated into one large continuous space. I'm now at another part of Orchard Road, which is over 2 kilometers long. Now, for most people, finding their way around isn't as easy as walking in and out of frame. In fact, the easiest and sometimes only way is through underground connections, not immediately obvious at a street level. It's why the Singapore Tourism Board is developing new ways to help tourists navigate the area better. One idea that's being explored is by having different zones and a different visual marker to identify each one. Another idea? Creative street furniture, so that visitors can sit and enjoy the urban landscape.
STB Chief Executive Keith Tan joins us now for more on this story. Mr. Tan, welcome. Tell us more about this Singapore On-Screen Fund and just how it's going to be used.
The Singapore On-Screen Fund is a joint project between IMDA and the STB, and it is our effort to get more of Singapore in front of the eyeballs of audiences all over the world, especially for people who aren't thinking about traveling to Singapore or who may have very old preconceived notions about Singapore. We want to change their minds. And therefore, the intent of the Singapore On Screen Fund is to be able to work with producers and companies that have a global, international reach so that they can reach out to audiences all over the world. That's key to our scheme, to be able to reach out to audiences from all over the world, to create great quality content that reaches out to all these audiences.
Oh, Mr. Tan, if these productions are meant to challenge preconceived notions, what kind of productions are you looking to put this money into?
Or anything that has great quality content, right? So we are now inviting and working with production companies from all over the world, getting their ideas, but it can be anything. We have seen Crazy Rich Asians, which is a romantic comedy. We're looking at the possibilities for science fiction or crime heists or action-packed drama like we saw with Little Women. So anything is possible, but the key is content and reach of the production.
You said it there yourself, Mr. Tan. The whole point is to get that content, that creative content, and the people who are going to create that content as well. You need to engage with them. Tell us how you're going to do that, and also with bigger production houses, perhaps.
Oh, yes. So I think the intent is to work with the world's most renowned production houses and studios. For example, STB already has an ongoing partnership with Warner Brothers, which we will double down on for various other sorts of entertainment programs. So our intent is to get ideas from them and see what they have to put on the table. We understand from our discussions and also with IMDA's discussions with many of these companies that they have ideas and they are looking for locations to shoot their productions. They are looking for great new places rather than the tried and tested usual locations. And so we hope to be able to use Singapore as the location for some of these shoots and in a way that tells a great story about Singapore as well.
Mr. Tan, of course, this amount we have to create this content is 10 million Singapore dollars. I just had a quick look online. The budget for the latest Mission Impossible is 290 million US dollars. So in the context of these kinds of mega million, tens of millions of dollars, these kinds of budgets, how far really can 10 million Sing dollars actually go?
Well, we've benchmarked our fund with similar funds elsewhere around the world, and it is comparable. And we are also not looking to underwrite the next Mission Impossible. That is not the intent at all, but it is to offset some of the costs. It is meant to position Singapore competitively against other cities that may be bidding for that project as well. And we are not looking for many productions over the next few years too. But what we're looking for will be a small number of globally impactful productions. And that won't happen very frequently, but we hope that like Crazy Rich Asians and like Little Women, there will be talkability about it for many years to come.
Yeah, and that talkability, the idea of the quality of those of the content, it's important. The word quality was used more than a dozen times in the STB speech. Tell me something about the parameters for defining that quality, though. What are you looking for exactly?
Well, we can define quality in terms of the quality of the experiences and the attractions and hotels that we're bringing to Singapore. And of course, we want high quality attractions, experiences and events and hotels. We want attractions, for example, to be first of their kind. Attractions and experiences and events that are first in Asia, for example, or first to bring new concepts, even if they have been tried elsewhere around the world. When they come to Singapore, they bring something new to the plate when they come to Singapore. That's what we mean by quality attractions or quality event or quality hotel, for example. Whereas for the quality visitor, we would like visitors who are willing to spend more time understanding our country, delving deeper than the surface of what they see or do here in Singapore, exploring a little bit more, and hopefully when they leave Singapore, they become fans and advocates for Singapore. And that's what we mean by quality visitors.
Oh, thanks so much for giving us all those insights. That was Keith Tan, Chief Executive of Singapore's Tourism Board.